Hello and welcome to Swipe. Coming up, working 9 to 5. How technology is changing life in the office. Mama do the hump. Rizzle-Kicks shows their shooting skills on the new Call of Duty. Virtual currency moving into the real world with the world's first Bitcoin ATM. And Army Hearties, we're battling pirates and helping a certain hedgehog find his way in this week's Games Review. Take a look inside any office these days and you'll find practically every business is dependent on technology. From our desktop computers to video conference calls. Pull the plug and we'd be lost. But is it making us more productive or creating more distractions? Sky's Katie Spencer has been taking a look.
Keeping up with the technology we use at work can be a full-time job in itself. Increased connectivity has transformed the average workplace. And according to a new study, since the 70s, office productivity has increased by 84%. Hardly surprising given how the tools around us have changed. With today's cloud computing, we can work anywhere at any time. So where do we draw the line?
You're going to be able to get more productivity from each individual within the hours that they're actually working. So it's a personal choice on where the barrier is between office and the home life.
Mobile phones and emails are the biggest reason behind the boost. And between now and 2020, productivity is expected to go up by another 22%. Could this mean email overload? It may look like an ordinary office, but Yammer, a social network run by Microsoft, is looking at new ways for us to communicate at work.
Many people, for example, will feel chained to their email. They feel that, oh God, my inbox is full all the time and I must empty it. But in reality, that's just the process of work. It's not work itself.
Some critics argue that the pressure to constantly stay connected is in fact making us less effective at work, taking away from the time we need to stop and think.
All you're doing if you're stuck in that technology carousel of constant distraction, constant interruption, is you're always reacting, you're never reflecting.
Testing out new ideas is equally important at Google.
I'm about to dial into a Hangout and I'm going to be meeting with my colleague, my PR colleague in France.
At its London office, Google Hangouts has become standard, an alternative to sending endless emails, allowing employees wherever they are in the world to work together on the same document.
Editing, which might have taken hours or even days in the past, can now take minutes, and you can collaborate across regions and countries and borders quite easily.
Using social media in more of a business context could help save us time in the future.
Rather than just updates about your personal life, why not updates about the latest product launch or the latest bit of information, but doing that in a kind of flexible way so you don't feel like you have to review every single email you read.
Staying in touch with the office may be easier than ever, but knowing when to switch off is becoming even harder still. Katie Spencer, Sky News.
You're watching Swipe. Coming up, virtual currency moving into the real world with the world's first Bitcoin ATM. But first, get ready to lock and load. If you're a fan of first-person shooters, no doubt you've been eagerly awaiting this moment, the big release of Call of Duty Ghosts. The pressure is on for it to do big things, especially off the back of the massive success that was Grand Theft Auto 5. But does it live up to the hype? Well, before the big November 5th launch, we caught up with our celeb mates Rizzle-Kicks. The boys were asked to lead our squads in a special pre-launch tournament, and they let us tag along for a top-secret test of the game.
When we get onto the tour bus, we kind of go, right, he wants to get shot. I have problems with how competitive I get. In fact, I had to kind of take a back seat with this and kind of just enjoy it for what it was. I win at things, man. I'll beat him at FIFA.
Yeah.
But Call of Duty, he's you're
probably better than you at Call of Duty.
Just.
I just had a little go, a little play, and I'm already pretty addicted, I think.
I think as long as you know when to maybe stop,
yeah,
then it's like one of the best games you'll play.
There's this there's a concept that it's called like cranked. When you kill someone, you get like a power up.
It's hardcore. Yeah, I think it's the nature of when you have to advance anything, it kind of maybe goes into different areas it hasn't explored previously. There's a launch going on, and there's going to be like a big match with us, Reps 3-2, and one of the captain, and Daniel Sturridge. Basically, our tactics are just to be the best at smack talk. They can all give it that, yeah, but like when it comes down to
the pad, That's when,
When
stuff gets real.
Yeah, we need to think of more things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, when we come across you at Call of Duty, anything you'll be calling is your mum. My other tactic aside of the smack talk is to come dressed in an animal onesie.
Dangerous.
You're watching Swipe. Coming up, batten down the hatches, splice the main brace and pass me a bottle of rum. Honestly, I do not write this stuff. We'll be checking out the golden age of piracy in this week's Games Review. But first, here's a roundup of anything you might have missed over the last few days. Facebook co-founder Mark Zuckerberg is insisting the company's strong quarterly results show that Facebook is prepared for the next phase. Almost all of the key numbers have exceeded analyst expectations. Revenue is up 60% to $2.02 billion. However, it's not all rosy. The company conceded that daily activity amongst teens has declined, which explains the considerable drop in share price. Meanwhile, Apple's fourth quarter earnings have fallen 9% as more people opt for the company's lower-priced iPhones and iPads. It's the third consecutive quarter that its earnings have dropped compared with the previous year. The tech giant said it sold 33.8 million iPhones and 14.1 million iPads between July and September. Each year, BAFTA announces its Breakthrough Brits list for 2013. 17 people were picked out from the entertainment world. One of those was Sophia George, the games designer in residence at the Victoria and Albert Museum.
At the moment, I'm working on a game based on a William Morris textile pattern called Strawberry Thief. And it's in really early development at the moment. I'm hoping that you can control the birds and steal the strawberries as they come down.
The world's first cash machine for buying and selling the online currency Bitcoin has been installed at a coffee shop in Canada. The kiosk has a hand scanner and uses facial recognition to verify customers' identities before they pay in or take out cash from their digital wallets. So, you've just brought your lovely new laptop home, ripped open the packaging, but what's that smell? Cat urine. Dell's had to investigate after a number of new users complained they got slightly more than they bargained for with their Latitude 6430U Ultrabooks. Engineers insist what was making the smell wasn't hazardous and simply a problem with the manufacturing process, which has now been changed so it can't happen anymore. Well, I don't know about you, but I get quite worked up about being stuck in traffic. So how about the ultimate escape? Stefan Klein, an engineer from Austria, is my new hero. This is the Aeromobile 2.5, a flying car. Admittedly, it's not entirely clear from the video how long you could stay up in the air for, not to mention how it'd ever be practical on the roads, but nonetheless, I want one. Sign me up. Fancy an adventure? Well, in this week's Games Review, we've got the lot. Battles with pirates, the return of a familiar fast friend, and a comic come to life. Our gaming girl, Jane Douglas, has been taking us through some of her favourite new releases.
All hands aft, lads!
In Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, you play as Edward Kenway, who is a pirate captain in the Caribbean in the golden age of piracy, so the 18th century. He gets caught up in this ancient conflict between the Templars, who are the bad guys, and the Assassins, who are the good guys. And so that's what makes it an Assassin's Creed game. But more importantly, it's just a game about having a really brilliant time being a pirate in this big, beautiful, open, seamless world where you've basically got total freedom of the map to do all these authentically piratey things, of which there are a ton to be getting on with.
If a man plays the fool, then it's only fools he'll persuade.
It does a really fine job of keeping you invested in this wealth of activities with a slow burning but really engaging storyline and a likeable, roguish pirate character who is Edward Kenway, and it's much more interested, in fact it's only interested in the real historical side of piracy and real historical pirates. So you'll meet Blackbeard and you'll meet Calico Jack, for instance, but you won't get any of the Pirates of the Caribbean pirate Hollywood cliche nonsense, which is kind of refreshing. And also it strikes me that it's actually really hard to come by a good pirate game when pirates are such an ideal matter to make video games about. So Sonic Lost World is the latest in the Sonic the Hedgehog series of games. It is out now for the Nintendo Wii U, and also there's a version for the Nintendo 3DS. So it's business as usual for Sonic, because you're playing as Sonic and you're rescuing cute little animals from the evil Dr. Eggman, and you're doing that by running really fast, jumping, collecting rings, bopping monsters who then turn into rings. So the game is a mix of 2D and 3D levels. The 2D levels are of the kind that Sonic fans will remember from Sonic's heyday in the early 90s. So flat, colourful backdrops, and then there are different kinds of three-dimensional environments, some of which will possibly remind Mario and Nintendo fans of the spherical worlds in the Mario Galaxy games, which is kind of what Sonic Lost World is going after. Sonic's got a bit of a wobbly track record, a bit of a checkered past when it comes to attempting 3D games, and the 3D the environments are for the most part successful. They look bright and colourful and they're fun and a little bit nostalgic, which I think goes down well for Sonic as a storied game character. Where it falls down a bit is with overloading the gameplay with kind of gimmicky power-ups, which kind of bog it down and take away from the pure speed, which I think is so important for a Sonic game. The Wolf Among Us is a game about a cast of fairy tale characters who've been exiled from their homeland and have started a community in real-world New York in a very un-fairy tale-like setting. The game is based on a set of quite dark adult comic books called Fables, and similarly the game is a dark adult story, kind of noir-y styled. It's a very stylish looking game. It's kind of a storybook adventure. You'd say it was a point and click adventure, because you go around, say, a crime scene, collecting clues and having conversations with other characters. And the crucial thing about this game, about The Wolf Among Us, is that the decisions you make, the things you do, and the things you say to other characters affect how the story unfolds and how the other characters react to you, how they feel about you. So it becomes a real interactive story. And the story it's very cleverly written, it's very engaging, and the characters are very nicely brought over from the comic book series, which I'm a big fan of.
Something's going on.
Big P, did one of us do this?
Well, that's a lot for this week. Remember, you can catch up with the breaking tech stories all week on Sky News for iPad, our smartphone apps, and skynews.com. We'll see you next time.